people are saying the 90s was a great era of bodybuilding, they are not lying. Today I want to talk about Kevin Levrone once again, but not about his performance in the late 90s or early 2000s, like most of the people do. I want to talk about his first Mr. Olympia ever. He got the pro card in 92 and did his first Olympia in 92. And he got second to Dorian Yates. That alone is a crazy achievement, because even guys like Ronnie Coleman or several other guys like Phil Heath who are having records, okay, were once like that last, or at least had to do Olympia several years to go up in the ranks. But Kevin Levrone really had an amazing start and unique start. I want to show you today some good pictures where you just see, okay, this is how he looked like, and this were his strong points and everything. I think the 92 Olympia performance of Kevin Levrone was his most aesthetic performance ever. Saying his body was the most aesthetic body he ever had in his career, I think. He looked pretty good, like you see in this first picture. I know this is not a very good picture, but you see that his legs were once one of his very strong parts of his body, if not the best body part. So let's go on. Lat split, front lat split. You see his chest there being full and striated. The great thing was that back then, his chest was not having the tear he had in the same year of 1992. After the Olympia, he was doing bench press, still in somewhat of a contest shape. He was not that smart. He was doing the bench press, and he had to cheer up his muscle. So that was probably something where we say, okay, shit, career ended. But not for Kevin Levrone. After that, he did several. I think he got another 5 times runner-up rankings, but I don't know. If he hadn't tear up his chest, maybe things would go different. So like you see in this picture, again, his legs were crazy big. Not only his legs, but also his calves were very good. Later in the picture, you will see some comparisons with Dorian Yates. When you see this picture, you see a very young persona who is also looking very aesthetic. So in pro bodybuilding today, they are saying to guys like Cedric or so that they're aesthetic, but I think Cedric would look way better if he would compete it in that year, 92, early 90s, late 80s. I think that is the way maybe they should go to, because I think this one thing, it looks good. It's professional bodybuilding, and it's not too massive. It looks pretty damn good. And look at his legs again. This was a back lat spread. Look at his hamstrings. I know some pro bodybuilder who saw his hamstring at a guest post he did after that Olympia, and they were like, what the fuck? I never knew that there was a muscle like that. Okay, I never knew that there is a hamstring muscle. They didn't know it. Back then you didn't have the internet, so crazy time. This picture again. The thing is that these pictures, thanks to muscletime.com, are showing Kevin, but we don't have that good photograph quality. That means that with better quality it would even look better, but that's enough to see how it looked like. Now, let's go to the comparisons, especially the guys who say Kevin Levrone had bad legs. Really? Look at Kevin's legs, look at Dorian's legs. Legs and calves. I don't see where Dorian is really better. Maybe his calves a little bit. But look at those hams of Kevin. Look at those glutes, back. The back thing is that it's true that the back was a weak point of Kevin, but I think in 92 even his back looked not bad, looked pretty good, because he was in a very good conditioning also. And what I also like is, guys, what I also like about the 90s, when you look at these guys, they look good. No homo, okay? No homo, I'm not homo, but they look good. They all have hair. One day I will make a video, okay, where when I compare these photographs of the early 90s or maybe 80s, I don't know, with the current bodybuilders. Current top 3 don't have hair. Yeah, when you look at these days, okay, these days Mr. Olympia, most of them don't have hair. It's normal for not having hair. But back then it was a different era, you know. I think it was more than just having the body, but also the atmosphere, the charisma, and everything. And again, compare the legs. Compare the legs. Maybe you will say the angle and everything, but you know, show me any picture where Kevin's legs look worse than Dorian's. I think if there were not politics, Kevin really should have won his first Olympia, even if it was his first Olympia, but he should have won his first Olympia ever, and I think then things would have changed dramatically for his career. He would have had several Mr. Olympia titles, and it would be a historical thing, a very, very historical thing. But one thing I want to also add is that back then, more than today, you had to make yourself a name without the internet and everything. So you had to make yourself a name with the art of competing. That's one thing everybody says. Also, the guy on the right, you probably know him, Sean Ray. Okay, that's another picture of Kevin himself right now. Once again, look at the hamstring, look at his overall body, and this picture is like a sculpture. Full hair, great shape, great mass with class. Look at this picture, most muscular. Back then he already did his signature pose, but Muscle Time sadly don't have a picture of his signature pose. But this is, you know, this shows you some things, or at least the things you have to see. Like I said, calves, legs, overall body, pretty good, damn good. Again, a comparison, front lat spread. Show me any body part where Dorian Yates is better, besides maybe the calves. And you know, Kevin Lerone's calves are not that worse either. So look at those legs, look at the separation. And I'm not, you know, I'm not a hardcore any fan or anything of anybody, but I have to say that, you know, there are some decisions in the past which were made where sometimes I shake my head. Also, Sean Ray, to give him the credit, looked pretty good. I think in this picture he didn't fully did the pose yet, but it's enough to see what you have to see. Okay, this again is a great most muscular of Kevin, great legs and everything. Like I said, I messaged Kevin. I wanted to make an interview with him several times, and several times I didn't get any answer. So I'm the last guy who will just talk any positive things about Kevin to just, you know, get a contact with him or anything. Pretty good. That was the last picture. So what do you think about the 1992 Miss Olympia? Who do you think should have won? Of course, at the pictures we only saw Kevin, Dorian, and Sean Ray. This was not a, you know, 1992 coverage, but the Kevin Levrone 1992 coverage. So I showed you some poses of Kevin, and I think he really had a great performance at his first debut Olympia. He really compared mass with class, aesthetics, and this is what I call almost perfect body for bodybuilding. Wish you all the best. Subscribe to my channel. Don't forget it. Subscribe to my channel. Like the video if you liked it. Follow me on Instagram. Support me on Patreon if you want to. Links are in description.